Hello, welcome to another vintage cube draft. Right off the bat, we have Black Lotus, one of the best cards to draft. Otherwise, in this pack, Dak is an amazing pick. You're not going to see Dak beyond like pick 3. Fauna Shaman and Corpse Dance is a combo. Underground Sea is great. Mana Tithe is tricky. Commit to Memory has a lot of very important things it can do. Primaz is a great white card. Bergie is actually pretty brutal in Storm, as it turns out, either side of her. So, but yeah, I'm gonna take the Black Lotus. Like, we don't. What kind of crazy deck passes a Black Lotus? The only way I can think of packing Black Lotus if like you've already centered your deck around like Tinker, or you have Channel, and then you need the Emrakul, etc., etc. But, I mean, there are situations when I would pass. So, here, what do we have? So, the only super powerful... So, I could grab Brain Freeze and go into Storm, but I hate Brain Freeze as the only Storm win condition because decks have the Eldrazi in Cube. I can't tell you how many times, because I play the Eldrazi a lot, that my Storm opponent has gone off amazingly well, but then they think that Brainstorm's going to get me. I have Eldrazi, and they have to concede. So, I think the only, like, strong deck that this pack is representing is the Exhume for the Reanimate deck. And with Black Lotus, I might have a first turn Entomb Exhume or Collective Brutality Exhume, because I could play a Swamp, Black Lotus, have 4 mana up. So that's what I'm hoping to do. We'll see if it pans out. So, you know, if I had seen like Lion's Eye Diamond, maybe I would have been more... Also, Brain Freeze probably will wheel. So here, it's like, blah, blah. Massacre Worm, kind of, but it'll probably come back around. Nahiri probably come back around. Gideon doesn't really fit with these cards. Mana Flare will come back around, and if I want to go the Storm route, Opposition Agent probably come back around. Like, there's nothing... I'm trying to think, like, what is this? So I grabbed the Signet because I'm thinking, like, maybe I do artifact things, or I can't depend on the Black Lotus. So Containment Priest, you will probably come back around, but it's a good hate card for Reanimate. Venser and Riftwing, both amazing, especially if, you know, if you're on the play, you play a land. I first turn land Black Lotus, Venser, bounce your land, set you back. That's powerful. Also, Courser, like first turn Black Lotus, Courser, start getting value off the top of my deck. Impulse is great, but this early in the draft, I'll take Strip Mine, because if I can go like first turn Strip Mine, Black Lotus, Crucible of Worlds, or Reanimate Excavator, the game is pretty much over. Not always, you know, not always, but pretty much. So here, there's Ulamog, but do I want to go that route? I'm thinking that if I go Exhume, if I go the Reanimate deck, Grave Titan, I can play it on 3 with this Black Lotus, and it's also a good Reanimate target. So it sort of hedges me in multiple directions. Otherwise, like, for the rest of this pack. Here, Tendrils, but I've sort of fallen into more of a Reanimate deck than a Storm deck, so I'm hesitant to do that, even though there's also High Tide and Snapcaster. Lily is a decent Reanimate target, although a little expensive. So I think once again, I'm not going to draw the Black Lotus every game. So if I'm drafting a deck that is dependent on fast mana, I need other sources of fast mana, i.e. Chromox, i.e. Gruul Signet, i.e. food. So here, I'm just going to go Makeshift Mannequin. It allows me to expand what I might reanimate. So this is interesting in that there's 2 decent Reanimate targets in Sphinx and Sheoldred, but Inquisition is having some ways to look at your opponent's hands and set the disruption. Like if I'm on the play and I first turn Inquisition you, I might get your Black Lotus or your Mox that you kept that hand predicated on being able to play that. So I do take the Inquisition, especially because I could first turn Black Lotus like land, Inquisition, and Tomb Exhume. Corpse Dance, it goes with Makeshift Mannequin. I don't have any discard outlets. Technically, I could Inquisition myself for something that costs 3 or less. Here, I'm like, I already have the Gruul Signet. I'll go Stomping Ground, and then I'll have multiple green reds. Maybe because Corpse Dance and Corpse Dance and Makeshift Mannequin also work with the Through the Breach and the Sneak Attack. I'm sort of hedging into there. Now there's like Mana Flare if I want to try to cast things. But Massacre Worm's another one of those like okay Reanimate targets that's also castable, especially with Black Lotus. So I grab it just to have something. Now all I'm missing are discard outlets to have at least a poopy Reanimate deck. You know? It'll be poopy, but it'll be functional. It'll be functional poopy. The best kind of poopy is functional poopy. So here, I'm already doing the black, green, red thing. I'll grab Overgrown Tomb. I'll go deeper into it, and I guess I'll get Dark Perdition. And here, there's Regrowth or Tendrils. I'm not doing Storm, so I'll go Regrowth, Strip Mine, and Regrowth. Like being able to strip mine, Regrowth, Strip Mine. If your opponent keeps a hand of 2 lands, that could be it. So here, so many things for me. Lily, a great discard outlet, and Black Lotus Lily on 1 is very powerful. Bribery, very powerful. Damnation, very powerful. I could pivot very easily. Sneak Attack, though, is sort of what I'm predicating my deck on, even though also the Survival of the Fittest, very strong as well. But Survival might come back around. Sneak Attack will not. So I'm grabbing this Sneak Attack. I love Sneak Attack. Sneak Attack, nothing beats the element of surprise, except maybe rock. So here, once again, Pack Rat, discard outlet, very strong. Can win drafts just by pack ratting. Primeval Titan, great castable reanimate thing. Thoughtseize, amazing control to set the board of like what do they have and break up glass cannons. But I get the ultimate sneak attack target, Emrakul. So yeah, I'm grabbing it. Here, it's like, well, once again, I'm getting tough decisions. So right now there's Garruk. So there's, first turn Garruk with Black Lotus, very powerful, and it can allow me to find creatures for sneak attack. Blood Crypt is a land that fits my colors. Lily's Honest Triumph is okay as far as a control-ish spell. Bargain I can play early with Black Lotus, but I don't want all my spells to be Black Lotus dependent. And then there's Crucible for the Strip Mine combo. I just grabbed the Crucible because I'm thinking like, if I get an Entomb, I can also Entomb the Strip Mine to activate the Crucible combo. If Reanimate is not happening, if they have like a Containment Priest or whatever in play, or I'm thinking that they're a control deck and they have counter spells up, I already have the Crucible in play. Like I play the Crucible, I don't have any lands in my graveyard. They're like, what are they gonna do? And then I can sneak an Entomb around when they're tapped out for the Strip Mine. You can sort of get them without having to cast a spell. What else am I looking for? Looking for more sneak attack targets. The one hard thing is that like I can makeshift mannequin after sneak attacking something. Like I can sneak attack Emrakul, then makeshift mannequining it. I cannot do that with Corpse Dance yet. So I do need more discard outlets. Here, there's Hissing Quagmire, a great dual land for me. There's Fastbond, which I have Fastbond Crucible, which means if you get Strip Mine out, you can completely destroy your opponent's board in one. But I'm like, do I go for the land? Do I go for Fastbond? Hissing Quagmire tends to wheel real late versus Fastbond is not gonna. Here, it's interesting. There's Raphellos, which would allow me, if I go heavily more into green, to maybe cast the Emrakul. I don't think I'm going to go that green, though. I'm mostly black right now. The Blightsteel, sneak attack Blightsteel is a legitimate way to win. I might also get like a channel or something. So yeah, I just go for it. Even though you can't use Blightsteel with the Corpse Dance or Makeshift Mannequin. Here, it's just Kozilek. Blooming Marsh, once again, a land that I want and need. Ingress Rampage, a good control spell, but I'm going Eldrazi. With this, there's Progenitors. If like, it is a 10 ball to the face with sneak attack. Although you can't use, once again, Makeshift Mannequin Corpse Dance. There's Zealous Conscripts, which is a good sneak attack target. Green Sun Zenith is for value. But I think I grabbed the Duretti both to enable my Corpse Dances and my Reanimates, and is a way to draw more cards. Even though it is slow, also I can play first turn 4 mana Planeswalkers with this Black Lotus. So here, it's just the copper line, just trying to make my deck more consistent. And now it's like, whoa, there's Lily, strong discard outlet. But Survival is a discard outlet, and it allows me to find what I need. Like if I specifically want to sneak attack Emrakul. Raging Ravine would also be great. Damnation would also be a great control spell. I would probably play all of those spells. Here, it's just Pack Rat. I have too many weird things like Chrome Mox and Inquisition for the Bloodbraid Elf to be okay. And I get my Garruk back, so I have another potential first turn Planeswalker. Here, it's just the land. I'm going to be very mana hungry as far as like, ooh, I'm going to be trying to survival things, and I'm going to be trying to sneak attack things. Although Reclamation Sage could also be a pick there. And if it wasn't Blightsteel, but if it was like Mer Battlesphere, the Goblin wouldn't be bad either. So getting some control spells. I play Glass Cannon deck in Vintage Cube, so I take those out. Here, it's just Mana Crypt. What I'm saying is like, oh, hey, you need other spells to give you fast mana. Oh, and there's also Animate Dead. I actually don't think I take... this is interesting. This is one where it's a toss-up. I could see taking either. I think I do take Mana Crypt, and it is the better pick, but Animate Dead is what my deck is built around. So I think it wheels, which is very unlikely. So here, there's just Through the Breach. Dark. So it's like, first of all, I wish I had the Progenitus. There's Natural Order, even though I don't have any green creatures really. Dark Ritual. Once again, it's kind of like a Black Lotus. Is fast mana. Could use it. Mer Battlesphere. I could use it, especially with Duretti. But I have to go, I think, Through the Breach for these Eldrazi. But once again, it's just so hard. Oh, so many things. And, you know, I win this draft, so it looks like I made the right decision. But there's so many ways you could have gone, and I don't think any of them, there's like no wrong way to eat this Reese's. I'm not sponsored, but Reese's, if you're out there, hey, give me a call. So just taking, my land's going to be very consistent. I have a lot of dual lands. And if I get a Raphaelos, hey, I might actually be able to use it. So here, there's Turn Timber, there's Terrastodon, and then there's Uli Mooli. And this is interesting, right? It's like, what do I grab? I've made 2 drafts where I've gotten all 3 Eldrazi, so I'm kind of tempted to Ulamog, but Terrastodon is good as well. Terrastodon, especially if they have Planeswalkers, getting out the Terrastodon can do amazing things. But I also think like, ooh, Wishclaw for the sneak attack can be powerful. I really want both of those creatures, but I think I decide that the Talisman will make my deck more consistent to find like the Crucible combo or the sneak attack combo. Here, there's Reanimate Excavator, but I think I'd rather have Iona, one of the best Reanimate targets for this Exhume. Doesn't really work with Corpse Dance, but it does work with Makeshift Mannequin, so I'm going for it. Here, I don't have that many discard outlets, so I really want the Shallow Grave. I really do want the Shallow Grave. I also kind of want this Renisix, kind of want this Blackleaf Cliffs. There's like a million things I could pick, but I think I could Collective Brutality. At this point, discard outlets and cheap discard outlets are what I am lacking, as well as some payoffs. But I take Collective Brutality is a good way to check if the coast is clear. Lava Claw Reaches would be great. Toxic Deluge would be great, but Imperial Seal is an extra copy of whatever card I need in whatever circumstance. So, of course, I'm grabbing Imperial Seal. Only 2 of the Eldrazi. How lame. So here, there's Tinker, and it's like, you don't really have blue, William, but you could try to have blue, and you have the Blightsteel Colossus. So while I could grab the Lotus Cobra, I go for Tinker because it's just so powerful with the Blightsteel, and I can potentially turn 1 it with a Mana Crypt. It's going to take some finessing in these last few picks, but yeah, I'm going to grab a Tinker. At this point, I'm thinking I might go up in lands, like 21 lands, and just play all my combos. So I'm thinking I'll take out the Crucible. So I get Animate Dead back, very lucky. If you're playing black, even if you're not playing Reanimate, Animate Dead is very strong because it sort of counter-reanimates deck. If they try to get their creature in the graveyard before they're ready to reanimate it, you can reanimate it. So here, I really want this Mirror Battlesphere. I really do, especially with the Duretti. But Goose comes in turn 1, makes any mana color, so that's strong for me. It also makes blue, and it makes an artifact or many artifacts for this Tinker. So because I can survival for it, it's a green way that solves my blue problem. So I do grab Gilded Goose simply for the Tinker combo, as I'm showing with my cursor of Krufix, cursor of Krufix. So here I really do want this Questing Beast, and Maelstrom Pulse would be strong as well, but there's a dual land, and it's a blue dual land, so that is solving this problem I've created for myself by grabbing Tinker. Now here, there's Turn Timber, or there's Terrastodon, Turn Timber, Terrastodon. Terrastodon just solves so many problems. I don't think I'm going to have the 3 green for the Turn Timber. And I get my Shallow Grave back. How lucky. So I have the Reanimate Excavator and the Crucible, but like, I'm very mana hungry as far as colors specifically, so I don't think I can go deep into the strip mine, especially since I have no way to find the strip mine. Cards I think I'm taking out, definitely Massacre Worm. That's a sideboard card. Dark Petition is a little expensive. Baby Groot, the Planeswalkers, I think they're too expensive. I don't need them. Regrowth and Devoted Druid. I'm more black than anything else. I really only want the Gilded Goose, not Gilded Goose, not for mana speed, but for the blue for Tinker. So yeah, I'm taking out the Strip Mine combo basically. What else doesn't fit in this deck? I think I might take out Kozilek because it's less of a powerful Through the Breach and sneak attack target. And I do need to go up on lands, especially if I'm going to play this Strip Mine. So I'm like, Iona. But Iona, I have Exhume and Animate Dead. And Iona is end of game for a lot of decks if you can get her in play. Yeah, so I get rid of the Kozilek. I have ways to find the creatures I need with the Survival and the Wishclaw Talisman. So I'm like, I'll find the creatures. I'll find them. I got them. And then luckily I did such a good job at getting green, black, and red lands that I can go a little bit low on lands and not worry about having to get the colors that I need. So usually what I do is with dual lands is if I have two of them, I'll put in two of the dual lands and then take out one of each color that dual land represented. Here we go. I do play the Strip Mine. It's a little dangerous in this deck because, once again, I am very hungry for 4 different colors of mana, but I think that is okay. Here I'm like, is there anything I'm missing? No. Because Strip Mine is the only Crucible / Reanimate synergy, while I do have the Imperial Seal and the Wishclaw Talisman to find a piece that I'm missing, I really don't want to depend on that. It's a slow combo. It's more of a value combo. I'm looking to end the game. If I'm searching my library for a card, I want that card to just definitively end the game. Not like, well, probably locks them out of the game in the next 5 turns. You know? Why give your opponent those 5 turns? To find like a Channel Emrakul or whatever, you know, like Black Lotus, Channel Emrakul, and you're like, but you don't have any lands, I strip mine them all. Well, you know, sometimes that's not good enough. So now we're waiting. So, didn't quite make it to the top of the front page yet. Once after this draft, I am at 15 trophies, so I'm almost to that front page. I just did not have time. I only had time to play 1 draft most days. So considering how I'm getting a trophy every day, I feel pretty good about that. I've been very lucky and been very smart and very skill savvy. I'd say my win rate, I don't know, it's somewhere like maybe either 2/3 or 1/2. But I do if I lose early, just drop just so I can have more time to get content for y'all. So this first hand doesn't do anything. I don't have any black. I don't have any artifacts for the Tinker, so I send it back here. Once again, doesn't do anything. I'm trying to mulligan aggressively. Let's look at those hands just so I can get a little bit more. Okay. So very powerful. If I had a black, I don't want to sit on a dead hand when I have a very powerful deck. So I go nope, send it back. This hand is missing both a discard outlet and a big creature. So I'm just gonna sit here and make Goose tokens. Nope, that's not gonna win a Vintage Cube. So here I potentially have Emrakul Sneak Attack. So it's slow, but that's a win condition. This also just like, well, maybe you just play Pack Rat. Maybe you just keep Pack Rat and 3 lands and whatever, and just plan to Pack Rat, discard, which is another route to go. But I think the Sneak Attack in the long run, if I can Emrakul Sneak Attack you on turn like 5 even, I think I buy myself enough time to draw another creature to Sneak Attack you. I don't keep Corpse Dance because I'm going to need to discard Emrakul and Corpse Dance it on the same turn, and I'm not going to have enough mana considering how I'm mulliganing down to 5. So, bye-bye Pack Rat. I need all the lands because if I draw 1 red now, I have the Sneak Attack, and I don't know what I'm going to draw. I'm not guaranteed to draw any lands, so that's why I do what I do. They're playing Speed Red, and I'm like, uh-oh, I might be in trouble. I immediately draw a land, wishing that I had kept that Pack Rat. Although, Pack Rat would probably be burnt away against this red deck, so worth noting. I don't like Young Pyromancer of all the things they could have played because it makes creatures. And then that's more things that they can sacrifice to Emrakul. So in my mind right now, this game is over. It is not mine. I can get here Black Lotus, and then I can both play and cast Sneak Attack next turn. So what I'm hoping now is they leave themselves open for this Blightsteel Colossus. And the 1/1s are going to be troublesome for me. So they saw Sulfuric Vortex, but now I know that I have, as long as they don't have like Lightning Bolt, Fire Blast, I have 1. And so this is the power. This is why I kept this hand instead of doing piddly little Sneak Attack thing, or piddly little Pack Rat things, or trying to futz around with Corpse Dance. Like, boop. Hey, 1 giant threat, you'd have to sacrifice all. They'd probably keep their Sulfuric Vortex, and then 2 giant threats. Hey, what? So actually, thinking about it, if they had kept their, they'd kept their Sulfuric Vortex after the Emrakul, they would be down to, like, let's say they can somehow play 2 spells to block to be able to chump block the Blightsteel. They go down to 5, so they die first from the Sulfuric Vortex, assuming those spells that they play aren't like Lightning Bolt and Fire Blast. Once again, if they had Lightning Fire Blast, I should not be winning anyway. So, boop, we get to see it again. Hey! Oh, man, I pull this one. Mulligan down to 5, but 5 is enough when you have Black Lotus, Sneak Attack, and some of the most powerful creatures in Magic. So, I get rid of the Terastodon. Killing their lands isn't, like, Terastodon's best when it is restricting resources. They don't really need that many resources to do what they're doing, so I'd rather Massacre Worm, which will get rid of their piddly little creatures in play. I don't Strip Mine as well. Like, they're really only playing 1 color. Their resources aren't going to be a problem. I would rather have my deck be more consistent. So I go bye-bye. Like, chances are they're going to draw extra lands in any game that lasts more than 4 or 5 turns. Well, I might not. So, here, this hand, I have the Blightsteel in hand with a Tinker, so it's like, maybe I can collect Brutality it away. Worth noting that Collective Brutality is very strong against red, in that you can usually get a burn spell from their hand, kill one of their creatures, and gain a life, which negates another one of their burn spells. So I think I might keep this on the back of Collective Brutality alone and hoping to draw into this Tinker. Yeah, that's why I kept. Really, Collective Brutality is why I kept this, because I can both get rid of the Blightsteel and then throw it back in my library for the Tinker. So Soulscar is dangerous because if I try to Collective it, they might be able to play a spell and pump it in response. So I'm like, I'm gonna wait. Now I can Inquisition to sort of see if the coast will be clear next turn. Oh, I'm hoping to grab a creature. Containment Priest, I really don't like. They don't have any white, but I don't want to risk that. Most of my ways to win need to cheat things into play. I'm not seeing any white mana from them. But they also don't have any card draw. So I know what they've drawn. They attack me, and now I'm planning to Collective Brutality the Zergo, both because I know it will kill it, and because it has more power, generally speaking. So here I'm like, I can get rid of your Braid. It is important to get rid of the Braid in case I need to, like, in case I need a Signet for a turn, and I need that Signet to live to Tinker it. So right now, I'm just thinking, what do I discard? Blightsteel Colossus, definitely. And then I think Corpse Dance is the other one. Here's what I do. I survival this turn because what I'm thinking is I can discard Blight. I'm resource bottlenecked on green. I can discard the Blightsteel next turn and Collective Brutality, and then I can get Emrakul, and then I can Emrakul Corpse Dance. So that's what I'm thinking that I'm going to do, because that's a plan that I know I have everything to action that plan, versus the Tinker plan, I'm still dependent on drawing an artifact, and I don't have a creature that I can artifact out. This is interesting because it's like, well, they can play their Braid and get another poodly, piddly, podly little creature in response. Do I do this? So now, because I want to keep the Corpse Dance, do I do it for 2? Do I do it for 3? Because I have the survival now, I have a way to discard something for 1, so I can get rid of this land is now extra. I need to get rid. Oh, I need to keep the Colossus. I get rid of the Tinker, I see, because I don't have the artifact. I need to keep the Colossus so I can discard it to Survival. So I cannot discard it to Collective Brutality. So they use the Abrade on their own Pyromancer so that they can get a token out of the deal, because they're getting the Abrade's going bye-bye anyways. I agree with that. That's a smart play. And I still think it's right to hit the Pyromancer in case they have more spells this turn. But Emrakul does not necessarily win now, the one downside. However, sneak attacking or this Blightsteel, if I happen to be able to, would. But I'm going to be planning to sneak attack this Emrakul. It'll slow them down. And then hopefully I can win from there. There's also, right now I'm thinking like, ooh, maybe I go for Massacre Worm, actually, or Grave Titan. Because Grave Titan will hit them for 6 and give me an army. But I'm like, you don't do that when you got Emrakul. So this Wishclaw Talisman will allow me to do strong things. I'll be able to find a Black Lotus or a sneak attack. And then any creature would sort of allow me to win. So this hopefully is going to buy me enough time. I get another creature via the Emrakul survival, which is very useful. And I think like, oh, I can grab the Massacre Worm. Then I can Talisman for, oh, is it just Grave Titan? I think it's just Grave Titan because I think the board's about to be clear and I need something that can kill. It's in between Grave Titan and Massacre Worm. I'm expecting them to sacrifice a bunch of their little piddlies to this attack. We'll see. So they decide to go, keep their damage sources, which is smart, is very smart. Now they're at 3. So if I can get this Massacre Worm, I win. So if I have an out and like Black Lotus immediately allows me to win. I draw a Hissing Quagmire. That's not Black Lotus. That's not Black Lotus. So I play the Talisman. I'm thinking like, is this Grave Titan what I want? Or do I discard the Grave Titan and get the Corpse Dance back with the Wishclaw Talisman? I can do that if I want. Maybe I should have. Or even Shallow Grave. Instead, I get the Massacre Worm, and then I go, hey, guess what? I can play Massacre Worm, and then I still have Hissing Quagmire as a, yep. They see the light at the end of the tunnel. 1 second. As I replace this, I did this in 2 pieces. What? 2 pieces? This goes down. You are now staring at the void as we go into a part 2. 1 second as I make the playback as fast, not as fast as it can be, but as fast as I can talk over it, which is about 3 times the speed. 3 fast, 3 furious. As we go into this next game, I remember it took a while for this to queue, just to fire off. Great. So, hey, not that fast. Great. So here, this hand, of course, has no black. Yeah, I could expect to like, well, maybe you see, I'm on the play, so I can't even do like the draw up to 8, discard the Iona, hope to draw a black for this Animate Dead. So I ship it. Here, it's like, I'm missing 2 pieces, the big creature and the discard outlet. So I ship it. Once again, I only need a few cards to win the game. So here, I have Sneak Attack. I don't want to go much lower than 5. And Sneak Attack is one of those cards that can win on 5. Now, I'm just missing the big creature. But, I have Imperial Seal. I have Talisman. It's a little greedy for me to Mana Crypt this fast, especially since I'm potentially going for a long game. I maybe wanted to wait. They Black Lotus. I'm like, that's not fair. Then they have Regisaur, and I lose my flip. And now I'm like, well, I potentially need to draw whatever I'm going to draw, maybe even next turn. If I lose my next flip, this Regisaur is a 2-turn clock. Regisaur is very powerful, even outside of just being a Reanimate enabler. So they attack me. No, my face! They're not doing much otherwise, and I lose the flip, so I am dead. That game was super fast. Sometimes the glass cannon doth break. I don't really know what they're doing. I'm assuming Reanimate. I don't think this Massacre Worm is going to do much work, so I don't care about it. This hand... wait. Hey, stop. So this hand is slow, right? Technically, I could Chrome Mox this Exhume away, and then play Grave Titan on turn 5, but there's so many faster things I can do. This hand is like the same hand. Maybe I can try to cheat in the through the breach something, like the Grave Titan on turn 4, maybe, but like, mulligan it again, and now I get like the exact same hand. What is happening? What is magic? So I don't want to go down to 4. I just like, you know what? I'm going to cast a Grave Titan. I have a Black Lotus. Maybe I can draw a Black Lotus and cast this Grave Titan. Otherwise, in my mind, this game is over. So they had to dress anyways. Those other 2 hands would have been ripped apart. Unlike Black Lotus. Can I get a Black Lotus, please? Makeshift Mannequin. Sure, I have no discard outlet, though. Can I get a Black Lotus? Please? Black Lotus? Black Lotus? Mine? So they Inferno Titan, and I'm like, well, this game's over. Good draft. Good draft. My draft. And then, woo, sneak attack. So now I could actually sneak attack the Grave Titan. I can sneak attack the Iona and basically Orum's Chant them for a turn. Orum's Chant, for those who don't know, is an old card that makes the opponent not able to cast spells for a turn. And now I'm like, I'm gonna take. So I am dead in like basically 2 turns when they with their pump. So I do need an answer. I get a Strip Mine. What I'm planning to do is sneak attack this Grave Titan, and then I can makeshift mannequin it. The problem is I can't makeshift. I don't want to makeshift mannequin it. I can, but I don't want to before their Inferno Titan attacks, because they could target the makeshift mannequin Grave Titan with the Inferno Titan, which would cause it to be targeted, which per the token made by makeshift mannequin will make me sacrifice the Grave Titan. I have another decision to make. They're probably going to kill one of my zombies with this Inferno Titan attack, the 3 damage trigger. I can either triple block the Inferno Titan with my zombies, or I can throw the Grave Titan to block it. But I'm thinking that like I'll get 4 more tokens with the Grave Titan. I'd rather triple block the Inferno Titan, so if they have a removal spell, they think they're getting value by killing one of the zombies with it, and then I can attack again with this Grave Titan, deal 6 more, put them at 8, and then like basically if the Grave Titan comes into play, it makes 10 power, and then with Iona I can deal 17 next turn. So I'd rather that block, and maybe they burn their whole turn killing one of these zombie tokens, thinking they're getting a good deal. They do not. They copter, but I'm like, I don't care about your copter. Hey, do you have an answer to 10 damage? No? What about a Blightsteel Colossus? So I Iona first in case they have removal of some sort, and I'm figuring black would be the only way they can kill an Inferno or a Blightsteel Colossus is with like a Liliana's Triumph or something like that. There's no I can't think of any red spell that as an instant that would get rid of Blightsteel Colossus. So if I've shut them off of black, I know my Blightsteel is gonna come through, and then it's like they have to somehow animate the copter to block. Here it's interesting in that I can first turn Goose, I get the artifact. Second turn, I make a Goose token, then I use 1 Goose token to make the blue with the Goose, and I sacrifice the second Goose token to tinker. So I'm hoping they don't see it. I'm hoping they're like, let's get rid of survival. It makes me most consistent. It's my discard outlet for a lot of things. You just want to get rid of survival. You don't see it. So I'm like, they don't see it, or they have, any sort of removal for this Goose. I'm guessing they have the removal. So they Cruxa, and I'm like, hey, so here's the problem. I'm about to discard a big creature, and they are black. They could be Reanimate. They could have Reanimate or Animate Dead, and they could use my own Terastodon against me. So it is a little dangerous, and it's worth noting right now. But then I'm like, Exhume? Hey, so Cruxa only stays in play if it has been escaped. So this is not a free Exhume for me, but it is a decently free. And I feel like, okay, yeah, I'll get rid of my food token, but if I get rid of both of my opponent's lands, I don't want to not get rid of my food token, because then if like they have removal for the Terastodon, they can attack me for 6. That's a very fast clock that I have to deal with. Here, I've sort of like, I at least have a 3/3 if they can remove my Terastodon. I can still slowly enact the Gilded Goose plan. I'm like, bizarre. I'm not worried about that at all. I'm a little punished in that I could have Chrome Mox and Tinkered this turn, but I'm still pretty confident. I'm confident. I got it. I'll keep this Overgrown Tomb in my hand in case they have Lily. Like, what are they going to do? I destroyed all of their resources. I've been under the Bazaar before. Bazaar, once you start Bazaaring, you either win and then they Black Lotus. I'm like, no! No, that's resources. That's too many resources. Black Lotus, that's not fair. Then they Entomb. I'm like, what? They have everything? Do they have the Animate spell too? What kind of monster is about to come out of their deck? I'm so scared right now. I thought I had this game under wrap, and now the wraps, they played Gristlebrand. I'm like, no! Luckily, they are low-ish on life, so I'm like, and I'm still completely fine. So I'm, oh, okay, I'll be able to Blightsteel next turn. They're gonna have to block this nasty Terrasti, and they're gonna have to deal with a Blightsteel Colossus. But remember, they're gonna be able to potentially. I only attack with Terraston because if I attack with my 3/3 as well, they could chump block with the 3/3, and then they can gain 7 life and gain more cards to draw. So they have to block the Terraston. They are at 7 life. Here, I play the Tinker. Whee! Now I have a Blightsteel Colossus. So now I have 2 threats that kind of have to be answered, and they can't answer it because they at most probably have 1 land, because even if they draw 7, it's like technically they could have drawn 14 there. They could have attacked, gone up 7, gone back down to 2. But they've already used their Black Lotus. I doubt they have that much more. Maybe they have a Dark Ritual, and they have 2 very strong things to deal with, as well as my 3/3, because they would be at 2 life if they did that. So they either draw 7 and try to deal with 2 bad threats, or 2 big bad threats. Not bad threats, but, very, very dangerous threats. And then they can leave their Gristlebrand back to maybe trump block. Or, yeah, basically. So here, I'm like, oh, okay, I have Inquisition. So if I was on the draw, it'd be a lot better. I could just discard the Terrastodon and do Animate Dead. But hey, I see their hand. Leovold's the only really dangerous thing. Agadine, I'm like, they're not Agadining until 6 right now to get anything in the graveyard. Heartless Act, I don't care. I think, you know what? In the meantime, yeah, I'll grab your Leovold. I don't know what you're doing, but a lot of time Leovold goes in decks that have like Time Twister, etc. So I would rather try to shut that off or make you use even more spells. So this Animate Dead is now a 3-for-1. They've burned their Heartless Act. I got their creature, and I get to draw a card. Really, it's a 2-for-1 because I'm up 1. They are down 1. I didn't steal the creature. I just, yeah. Okay, so it's a 2-for-1. Whatever. Here, now I have the Pack Rat, so I have an outlet to get rid of this Terrastodon, as well as just the Pack Rat being a good thing on an empty board. I'm not worried about their Agadines. Once again, it's 3 more turns so they can get their the thing out. It's a little interesting Pack Ratting now. The same reason as like if they have a Reanimate spell, I've just enabled it. They have Miscalc. I don't care. I'm glad that they cycled it. Then they Questing Beast. I'm like, uh-oh. Questing Beast. I draw Sneak Attack, but I'm like, I'd rather just Makeshift Mannequin. The most dangerous colors in my mind right now are this black and this blue. I feel like 2 green. I mean, yeah, they can still channel, but there's a lot less I need to worry about if I just get rid of their black and their blue. I know they still have a black and blue in their hand, I believe, because they have not played the island that I knew they had, and they have the Agademes, but that I did just slow them down, and hopefully I've slowed them down enough where I can get a Terrastodon attack. So I still know 2 cards in their hand, I believe. And I had the Sneak Attack. I'm wondering, like, well, maybe I just Pack Rat things. Because I have 5 mana, I can Sneak Attack and use it all in the same turn. So I think I just plan now on Pack Ratting and making a food token. I'm going to attack with a Terrastodon. Hey, if you want to trade for Questing Beasts, I'm okay with that, because then my Pack Rats are 4/4s next turn, which is going to be very difficult for you to deal with. Here we go. That's to be expected. I'd rather do that than, if they happen to have a removal spell and the Questing Beast can sort of like hold all my 3/3s at bay. At bay, B-A-E. So now I know that they have Agademes in hand. If they draw another land, they can Agademes for 3 and get just their Leovold back as a 6-mana Reanimate for a pooper. So here I'm like, do I even care? Do I care? Are they about to Toxic Deluge me? Are they about to Damnation? What's about to happen? very suspicious. I block 1, and I feel like I'm going to keep my pack rats. And then they Shinobi, and I'm like, no, I've lost. I have so many big things in my deck. But, hey, they get poopy things, and I'm glad. Well, actually, if I had drawn Corpse Dance, that probably would have been game. So they Corpse Dance. I don't know why they Corpse Dance. It removes their Questing Beast, which means that they can't Agadeems it. They get no value. I don't agree with that. So now I have Strip Mine. I'm like, bruh, do I? Sure. I make another Pack Rat. I'm going to attack. I can either block their Shinobi with my Pack Rat or my Gilded Goose, and then I have all these Pack Rats. Discarding Sneak Attack is a little suspect, but hey, there we go. They get rid of my Goose. I have 1 blocker. I'm like, well, do they have another removal spell? I know that they have Agadeems in hand, so I know that they don't have a removal spell. But that got very iffy. So now I'm like, what do they have? What do I want? I think I'm okay with my deck. I don't think they have much to counteract my very powerful deck. So it's like, but there's no way to activate my big things here. I have the Signet, the Tinker, and the Sneak Attack. So I'm like, if I draw blue, I can Tinker. If I draw a big creature, I can Sneak Attack. I think I want to keep this and get rid of this Corpse Dance. It's difficult, right? I could also get rid of a land. So sometimes your opponent keeps questionable hands, and getting rid of one of their lands shuts them down. So I just, especially because there are 3 colors, I think like, hey, might as well try. It didn't work this time, but it could have. So now I draw Black Lotus, and I'm like, oh, I can Tinker now. I can play the Signet and Tinker it. And what I do is I play the Lotus. In case they have Daze, I do it this way. And now I have Blightsteel, and it's like, can you beat a 3rd turn Blightsteel opponent? And their answer to that is... There are a lot of answers to this. They can bounce it, they can control it, they Leovold. I'm like, that's not going to do it, opponent. That'll save you 1 turn. You know, maybe they have Oko or whatever, so just buying the turn is worth it. Or they have Treachery, etc., etc. Treachery would really F me up. But they don't, and I win. So, that was a great draft. In and under 43 minutes. Ooh! You know, when sped up, this video will be. So, if you really liked this video, please actually like it on YouTube. If you really, really liked it, please leave a nice comment. It helps me so much. It keeps me inspired. And if you incredibly, most amazingly, have to have more, please consider subscribing to the channel. It'll help me a lot. And check out other videos that are playing in the outro probably right about now. Thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone.